its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face to an ugly frown. Seems that when I fix one thing,
Welcome to The Awakening. I'm your host, Angela Brown. Today's topic for discussion is called Caring Collections, and they're in Annapolis, Maryland. And I have three wonderful ladies sitting here. To my right side over here, I have Bobby. Next to Bobby is Debbie, and next to Debbie is Yaz. I like that, Yaz. Bobby, let's start with you. How did this all come about?
It began at Christmas of 1982 when I had a very dear friend who went into Johns Hopkins for 3 months for treatment for leukemia.
Oh.
Everyone was cooking for her family and driving her children to different locations for school and activities. But my interest was in art, therefore I designed one three-dimensional stained glass angel to accompany her to the hospital for her duration of visit there.
And did she make it?
Unfortunately, Susie passed away the following December, but her memory has continued and lived on because of the fact that since that time, unanticipated, we continue to make angels. From one angel to currently we have reached 43,000 angels.
Oh my goodness.
Stained glass that we've shipped all over the world.
Oh, people from all over the world have found you? And
Yes, they have.
oh, that's so wonderful. It makes my heart feel good.
Yes,
There's
it does.
good people out there, you know.
They're all wonderful people.
Yes, they are. Now, you, Debbie, how long have you been in this?
I've been working with Bobby for 27 years.
How did you find her?
Actually through a friend who
Really?
called me and asked if I was interested in going out to Bobby's studio, meeting a wonderful lady, and she was making stained glass angels to raise money for cancer.
Really? Yaz, how did you get out there?
Well, it was kind of a roundabout way. My family and I had moved up from Fort Lauderdale, and I was looking to get involved in some kind of volunteer work. So I joined a women's social group in Annapolis called New Annapolitans.
The what?
New Annapolitans.
What is that?
It's a women's social group for newcomers.
Oh.
You have to live in Annapolis less than 2 years. And it's strictly for women and strictly social. And
That's good. Women should have something of their own.
It's wonderful. And in one of these small sessions, I met a woman, Jane, who is also an artist, and she mentioned that she volunteers at the stained glass studio. And I said, well, I've always loved to do crafts. Maybe that might be something I would like to do. I said, may I join you? She said, absolutely. You're welcome. So I arranged to meet her the following week. I walked into the studio, nervous as anything. I introduced myself to Bobby, and Bobby said, welcome. And that was it. I was hooked.
She has a big heart.
She does, absolutely.
And you just felt at peace. That's what I call it. Relaxed?
I felt like I found my niche.
Okay. Found a family. That's
Exactly.
what I call it. Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're married, Bobby?
Yes, I'm married 52 years.
You
this
don't look
summer.
old enough to be married
I
that
know.
long.
Very, very young.
You got married when you were 5
Yeah,
years
yeah.
old, didn't you?
That's right, certainly.
You certainly don't look old enough to have been married that long. I met your husband only briefly in here. He doesn't talk too much.
He's quiet. Well,
He's very quiet.
he's very nice, but he thinks a lot. Well, he's very busy working in the studio, too. So
Does he?
he helps us. He's the head of the shipping because we ship the angels all over the world. He's in charge of making sure we have the gift boxes properly assorted and the shipping boxes and the packing pellets. We recently had 3 U-Haul trucks deliver the packing pellets. We had
You mean those little
25.
things that,
Yes.
little white things?
The
I
little
like to
white
pop
thing,
them like
the pop
that.
'em. We had those, and they filled up the garage, so our work not only fills up the studio, but it fills up a bedroom that's filled with gift boxes, a garage that's filled with packing pellets, and a laundry room filled with shipping boxes. So the angels have taken over our lives and led us to do good things.
You all look very happy, very healthy. It's a good thing that you do what you do.
Yes,
They
it
have
is.
children.
No, I do not have children. Well,
don't have
no.
any children?
Well, I do. I have an extended family of children from
Okay.
all over the world, people that my husband has worked with and I've known. And so our family is not necessarily a biological family, but it's a worldwide family. A worldwide family. And all of the volunteers that work with me are part of my family. And their children and grandchildren are part of my family.
Debbie, you're married, I'm sure.
I am.
You're a very pretty lady.
Well, thank you.
I like your cheeks. Chubby cheeks.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Now, that wasn't a put down when I said chubby cheeks, but you...
That's okay. You're
got-
not the first one who said
Okay.
that.
Now, you have children.
I do. I have 2 children and 6 grandchildren.
Oh, my.
Yes.
How old are your grandchildren?
12, 10, 8, 5, 3, and 2.
Oh, my goodness. They probably have a good time with you, don't they?
We have a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We love
You
them.
seem a very like a laid-back lady and relaxed. I'm this hyper lady, you know, I got to be doing something all the time. And you, Miss Yods? Children?
Yes, I'm married for 30 years. I have
No.
30 years come September. I have 2 sons, 22 and 24, and both of them have volunteered at the Caring Collection.
Oh, that's wonderful. And all of you do this as volunteer work. You don't get a salary.
No. No, it's all volunteer.
See, that's what love is all about. You don't need money then.
The rewards are greater than
Yes.
money. Much
There are
greater.
some things that money cannot buy, and I know a lot about that myself. You just give, give, and give, because I work with children who are behind bars. I had 2 sons. My first son was murdered, and I went to the prison to find out from the man why he took my son's life, and all he did was laugh in my face. So they never wanted me to see him in the first place, because he stabbed Richard 13 times in the back, and my son never had a chance. So I went into the prison to see see what he was like. And what I found out, this man was in a lot of turmoil in his eyes. I could see that. So I said, I forgive you for the pain you've caused me from murdering my son, but it would have to take Richard to, forgive you for him. And I turned my back. I gave him a hug. I turned my back and I walked away. Probably a year later, I got involved with children behind bars. And I go to the teens who are behind bars. And I work with them, and when they get out, I get jobs for them. I already have the jobs, only they don't know it. I make them dress up in a white shirt and, and speak to a manager, learn how to, get your own job. But they already have it. And I've seen them grow and not go back.
It's wonderful. Do you follow them?
Oh, yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. Every once in a while, I'll find a wrinkled up dollar bill in the mailbox. Mom, this is for you. Go get a cup of coffee. We know you need it. So, I mean, it's a feeling that you're floating, and that's what I see with the 3 of you with your, your corporation. It's floating, Do you get? I'm sure you get donations, correct?
Yes, we do. We find that more and more people get donations. Many people have our angels, but of course, they can
takes
only
money to make.
accommodate so many angels. And after making different styles of angels for 30 years, it's time now that people want to just make donations, and they call daily or email us to make a donation, which is wonderful. And of course, 100% of that goes directly to purchase equipment for cancer research or for cancer patient care at Johns Hopkins and Anne Arundel.
Is cancer on the rise?
It seems like I hear more and more about
Really?
it, and a lot of young people, unfortunately, have cancer. But I'm not in the medical field, so
Right.
I don't.
No, because I was in a CVS store picking up a prescription, and this lady had watched the show, and she said that 1 in 2 people will get cancer. And then she says, no, 1 and 1-on-1 is going to be it. Because she was, as a survivor of cancer, she just had cancer surgery. So we're talking, and she's crying, and I'm crying. But I mean, it's something that's really running rampant. Don't you
Seems
think?
like-
Why do you think that's the reason? I know we're not doctors, none of us are, but we do have feelings too.
I don't know if it must be part of our environment.
And our water, do you
Or
think
the
in your
water,
water?
what we eat, what we
Think so.
what we drink, what we consume. It's.
Mhm.
I think it cannot be put to one particular element, but I think it's a combination of ingredients that affect our life.
But you, thank God, you and your husband have stayed cancer-free, right?
No, my husband had cancer.
Really?
He had colon cancer 11 years ago,
Oh.
but he's doing very well now, so that's good.
I'm glad. I'm glad. So it can be cured,
Yes,
but it
can.
takes time. It doesn't do. Don't you think that, Debbie? It takes
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Mhm. And it takes compassionate women like you ladies. Do you go to the hospital and visit someone who's just had cancer surgery? Are you allowed to do that?
Oh, a lot of my friends that have had cancer, and incidentally, a lot of the people who volunteer with us are cancer patients and
They're still
are
under care?
recovered. Some are still under care, and some are recovered. And once they're recovered, this is a wonderful way for them to give back, they feel, to help others.
So that's why it goes together. They have had it, you're working with it, and then they come to you, and then they can dedicate some of themselves. Do you really enjoy doing it, Debbie? You look like you do.
I love it.
You love it? Do you have friends with
27
cancer?
years worth.
20, yeah. You're not a day over 30, okay?
Don't I wish?
Oh, no. But you know, all of you seem very content and very happy.
Yes.
It's a great place to be, and a great thing to
It's
do.
a wonderful organization,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody cares about everybody else.
Right. Do you get together and have lunch? You know, when you have these fundraisers or whatever you call it, do the people bring you food and stuff like that?
We
No?
have our own gatherings too for the volunteers. We have
Okay.
parties and
Your own little
when
parties?
We have parties, celebrations of events, and,
Mm-hmm.
and when volunteers go away, they always bring us some chocolates back.
Oh, really?
And when they go on vacation, it's not uncommon for someone to bring us back
Yeah, chocolate's good.
chocolates.
Chocolate is very, very good.
So.
What about you?
What about me?
Do you, I'm going to find out this. Do you bring in food to help you guys when you're working all day? Do
No, I
any of
don't.
you cook for yourselves and bring it in or what?
No, we don't.
Because see, I'm trying to see this. You all aren't just people. You're a family. You're not strangers. I can see you're each a different age, of course. We all are. But yet you all are one.
Right.
Rather than more than sharing food, we share recipes.
That's food.
We
Okay.
share diagnosis.
Okay. Talk about the friends who have cancer, I'm sure.
Well, even as an aside, more in a joking manner, if someone comes in and says, "Oh, well, my husband has this and this kind of symptoms," and I told them, "Wait, I'm going to the Caring Collection on Tuesday. We'll have a diagnosis for you."
Oh.
And there's just a wonderful camaraderie. There's a lot of laughter. Lots of jelly beans.
Yeah.
We work for
Jelly beans.
we work for jelly beans. Lots of jelly beans. It's just a wonderful place to be, and I know that over the years, I've been there 8 years, and it's
Oh, you're
probably
the baby.
I'm the baby, yeah. it's just one of the nicest places to be, and it's the nicest group of people I've ever had the privilege of meeting.
And it's right out in the middle of Annapolis.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to get to.
Not at all.
You need more volunteers.
We can always use volunteers.
I'd like to come out maybe once or twice a week.
We'd love to have you
I'd love
come.
that.
And
I know my
volunteers
sister
are
would
all
too.
ages.
All ages. Okay.
14 to 90. One of our
Really,
volunteers
really
just
is.
had her 90th birthday. And Jazz, tell about your mom.
Your mom.
My
Yeah,
mother,
Jazz, come
my
on.
mother moved up from Fort Lauderdale about 5 years ago, and even before that, when she visited, she would come with me to the studio. And as the years went on, her vision diminished. She was legally blind, but there was always something for her to do.
Really?
She was most fond of bathing the angels. Bathing the angels. She said when she gets to heaven, she's going to be giving baths because she would bathe the angels, and it's an important part of the process.
What is bathing the angels?
Well,
What is it?
After they've been ground up, they need to be washed to get all the liquid off from the grinding. So they have to be washed, they have to be dried, and then they're brought to be foiled, to put the copper foil on the pieces. And that, even after the soldering process, they still have to be cleaned. So they
Okay.
go through several
baths.
baths.
Several baths?
Several baths. And then just before they're packed in their boxes, they are cleaned once again to make sure all the fingerprints are off and they're ready to go.
What does it do to your nails?
Do
you wear
It's not
gloves?
too bad. I do, because I'm soldering. I don't think you do you?
I don't
Yash?
know. I can't work with gloves in the foil. I know the grinders do. And when my
Now,
son,
this is wonderful. What are grinders?
the people,
How do you get started, Bobby? How do you get started? With a bunch of clay?
No, you start with the glass, the piece of glass.
A piece of
and
glass,
And the
okay.
glass is delivered to us in 2 by 4 foot sheets, and then we cut it down to the appropriate size of each of the body parts of the angels. and the people therefore draw, cut, grind, foil, and solder each of the pieces. And
That seems like so
there's-
much work.
well, it
is.
is.
It is a lot of work.
It is
It is a
for
lot.
our most recent angel. It takes 25 hours for each angel to complete.
Oh.
But we have up to 90 volunteers in the studio each week on different days, so there's lots of jobs, and people can select what they want to do,
Really?
and that's what's most important. When you have 100% volunteers, they do exactly what they want, and they do it well.
I don't blame them.
them.
You go, girls. Girls and guys and men and everything.
We have lots of men.
Oh, what about teenage boys?
We have a lot. I talked this morning with some. There's about 40 students from local high schools, public and private high schools, that come after schools and on Saturdays, and they participate in our program by grinding and foiling and soldering. They participate in doing all of the steps that we do, and it's a good opportunity for them to do their community service for the school,
Yes.
for the church, and in some instances for the courts. The students.
But you're
help
also
us.
keeping these kids out of trouble.
Yes, we're keeping. It's wonderful to keep them busy, and it's wonderful to see them there mingling with the older people. For example, I might have a 16-year-old boy who's being taught how to foil by a 65-year-old.
Now, what's a foil?
Wrapping the strip of copper foil around the glass before it's soldered together. So
Oh, okay.
it's all labor intensive, and it's important that it all be done correctly. We only have one rule in the studio, and it's up on the board, and it says do it any way you like as long as it's perfect. So everyone
Do
takes
anything you
great
like
pride.
as long as it's perfect. That's cool. That's cool. How do you like it? You enjoy your job, don't you?
Yes,
I
I
can see
do.
your eyes. They're so bright.
I do very much.
That's
yes.
good.
Bobby taught me how to do a total stained glass piece, and
How long did
then
it take?
several weeks to go through each process. But then I really found my niche in soldering. And
Soldering is like a drilling or?
no, it's a hot iron,
Oh.
and so you're working with a hot iron, and
Is it like a poker saw?
and you solder the pieces of the angel together to assemble the angel.
And it doesn't make you nervous?
Not anymore.
After you didn't lose your fingers and your hands, you're
After
okay.
a few burns.
What is the
No.
best part for you guys?
I like doing foiling. When I first came, it was fun because I was able to look over shoulders and to see what people were doing. And there was a group that was drawing on the glass, and then the next group was cutting those pieces by hand. So just kind
Isn't
of
that very delicate when you're cutting glass?
it is, because you have to make sure you cut it to the lines that were drawn, because you don't want to waste the glass.
Right?
And after that, it goes to the grinder. And the grinding, you had asked about the grinding. It's almost like taking a nail file and filing your nails into shape. That's what the grinder does. It shapes the piece.
Okay.
If it's a straight piece, the grinder, when it's cut, if it doesn't cut exactly, the grinder will even that out. It'll file it into the shape it's supposed to be. And then it gets washed, and then it comes to my
And what do
table.
you wash it in?
Soap and water.
Regular sink water, soap and water?
Soap and water.
Okay.
Dry it, and then it comes to my table where we foil the pieces. We put the copper foil all around it, trying to get it as perfect as we possibly can. Press it down really hard. If we don't press it down, then it will come up when it gets soldered.
Right.
So it's a lot of fun to do, but you have to pay attention to what you're doing.
Do you ever walk out with a headache?
I can't say I've ever walked
You don't
out with
get
a
headaches
headache,
or stressed out from it?
unless I've walked in
no.
with a headache.
Only positive stress.
Yeah.
Only positive stress. This is fabulous. It's fabulous. I think what you're doing is great.
Right.
It's-
And we take a lunch break. Some
Do you have a
people
drink on the side?
no.
Don't tell. And how many hours a day do you put into this?
It varies. I put in very long days, but people can come anytime after 9 and stay 1 hour, 5 hours, 2 hours, whatever suits them. And I think that's one reason it works. It's very flexible. Do you think so? You can come.
Absolutely.
You can
Particularly
come when you want to. It's not a 9 to 5.
Right. And if you have children in school, you can work, as when I started, you can work while your children are in school and be home in time to get them off the bus or whatever.
But when you do that, this is what I'm thinking. When you do that, it takes you away from getting your home in order, right? Cleaning your home and making meals. But this means not that you care less for your family than you do for what you do, but you really love what you're doing. You have to really do that to dedicate and do a good job. It sounds like a fun place.
It is a fun place.
Anybody's gotten cut, lost a finger or something like that?
No.
We get cuts occasionally.
Do you?
No,
Yeah.
no major, no major.
No
serious
major things?
sickness, no.
Okay.
They've
We have
been very
Band-Aids.
fortunate.
And the three of you get along like sisters, it looks like.
We get along very
I
well.
think everybody does.
Everyone does, yeah.
Everybody does in the
You
studio.
have a lot of grown men that come in and help?
Yes, we have several men that they make the halos and they solder. They, like the women, they select what they would like to do. So it's really fun for them, and it's interesting for them to be there and listen to what other women are chatting about during the day.
That's a good place to learn gossip, too.
It's very, because
Right.
there's no limitations on what people discuss. There's all the, what books they've read, what's happening on any TV show they're watching, or what's on the golf, whatever interests them. It comes up in conversation. So
Really?
that it's very open and fun.
Are there a lot of married couples?
Yes.
Yes?
There are there are
Okay.
quite a few.
And your husband is there with you most all the time, too?
He's there most of the time now, as I said. We've been shipping so much in the last year, so consequently he's
Do you
there.
get help with the shipping money? Donations help you do that?
The people who purchase the Angel have to pay for the shipping, and then
That's
we ship
good.
it.
That's good.
important. But as I said, we've shipped them to Australia, France, Africa, everywhere. So, and we always get wonderful response from people
That's
from
good.
all over the world. From
Yeah, and how do you advertise? How do
By
people
word.
find you?
by word of mouth, and
By word of
and
mouth.
we have a website.
Okay.
And sometime there'll be, it's wonderful, someone kind like you to have us, and other people will hear about us by a television
Right.
program. Or we were also in 2 articles by Guidepost Magazine.
Okay.
Guidepost Magazine and their sister magazine, Angels on Earth. But I think it's essentially word of mouth that people, I believe the angels tell them about us.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure they
believe
do.
it. The
I
real
believe
live
in
and the-
angels. I do. I believe in angels.
The real live and
Yeah.
etherical angels spread the word
Right,
about it.
that's true, that's true. Because I believe in God very strongly, because my son that was murdered, he came back to me less than 24 hours after he was killed, and he told me who had killed him, why the man had killed him, and he came through a beautiful bright light and walked up to the foot of my bed, and he says, "Mom, I'm all right, you don't have to worry about me anymore." And he gave me the name of the man, and he didn't say why they did it. But he says, "Mom, in the morning, they're going to cross over into Canada, so you must call the detective and let them know where they're going." And as God is my witness, I called them, and they picked the 2 men up at 8:30 on the way into Canada.
Oh my.
And my son just backed out of the beautiful bright light. I've never seen such a bright light in my life. And that really made me feel good. He was gone, but never gone in my heart. But to know that there is another place we all go.
Wow.
And he looked so happy about it. He just looked so happy. You just never know. You just never, ever, ever know. To be murdered and get your own killers. So I have a book on that. I'm going to get you a copy of it. It's called When All the Doors Close, Look to the Windows.
Did you write this book?
Yes, I did. And it talks all about growing up and things like that. But that was something that helped take that big pain out of my heart. I didn't think I could go on.
You have to, and you can.
I know, because I had 3 other children I had to look after. But to see him come back and be that happy, oh. So the work that you're doing, when you get to heaven, you're going to have a really good place. I'm sure you're going to have a wonderful place. Do you believe in afterlife?
Oh, yes, and I believe in all of that. The interesting thing you just mentioned about that, when I ended the first segment of Angels in 1986, after making the Angels, I signed a little angel. God closes the door and opens the window, and I think
Sounds
that's
like
how,
my book, When All the Doors
and that's how
Close,
it
Look
is
to
at
the
all.
Windows.
There's always new transitions, new chapters of life, and what you
There's
have
new
to
doors
look
that
at.
open, and there's bad doors that's still going to open for you.
but the good doors will outnumber the bad days.
That's true. That's true. 'Cause like I said, I lost my other son just before Christmas, open heart surgery. And that was devastating to deal with. But I feel him all through the house. He's come back and talked to me as well. And he just says, "Don't worry, Mom, I'm okay." So there's a God. There definitely is. There's a God, and there's a better place.
And he directs our lives.
Yes, he does, 100%. Do you ever get vibrations, all these little feelings when you go to start one of your angels? Is this one going to go okay? Is this going to get shipped okay? Is it going to get broken? Are the people going to like it?
I always feel that it's the right things to do because for the 30 years I feel that the angels have been directing what we do. And therefore I know they will, certain things are out of my hands that the
Yes.
angels will make happen, that we
Right.
can't control that. But that's a nice thing when you turn your life over to God and the angels. That's
Yes.
a wonderful place to be.
I hope that it continues going on for you for another 100 years. I know that's being facetious, but you just all look like you enjoy what you're doing so much.
We enjoy being together. It's wonderful. And we thank you for having us here with
But
you.
we still have a few more minutes left.
But, oh, that's
Is there
wonderful.
anything you'd like to leave as a last word from me? And what'd you do, Yaz?
I think I would also like to say thank you to Bobby, not only on behalf of myself, but also on behalf of my family, my children. I brought my children to the Caring Collection, I think it was back in 2004. And I admit it took a bribe. It took Dunkin' Donuts on the way. I promised them breakfast on the way. Well, okay, Mom. But once they got there and they started looking around, they really got excited about it, and each found a process that they like to do. And from that, I believe it encouraged them to go on and volunteer in other places. My
That's
younger
probably what
son
happened.
is a volunteer firefighter,
Oh.
an EMT. Wonderful to have in an emergency. My older son also volunteers, comes to the Caring Collection when he's home from Drexel, but he also volunteers at the U.S. Naval Academy Museum, building and refurbishing models. And does this absolutely because he loves it.
Our
And
time is up, though. Can you believe that?
This has been wonderful.
At 30
Thank you.
minutes, it's all gone. But I want to thank you, Bobby, Debbie, and Yaz for being here today.
Our pleasure.
And if you ever
Thank
need
you.
to do another show, just give me a ringy ding and I'll be there for you.
Thank you. This was very nice
Thank
of
you for
to-
coming.
Thank
I
you.
want to hope all of my viewers today will learn something from this. And I hope you have a good life. And I hope if you need these ladies, they're right here. Thank you till next time.